at a price that allowed us to buy Bitcoin in a way that we thought would be accretive to all of our shareholders. So we try to choose our spots. But at the end of the day, if you add another 10,000 Bitcoin when the price goes to 100,000, right? It's a lot of money. When it goes to 1 million, it's a lot of money. And our shareholders are long Bitcoin. There's no one buying MicroStrategy stock that doesn't believe Bitcoin's going up.
Welcome back, everybody, to Altcoin Daily, where you subscribe because you're interested in making money with cryptocurrency, and this channel keeps you informed. My name's Austin. Hit subscribe, join us on our road to 1 million, and let's jump in. That was, of course, Michael Saylor on BloombergTV, illustrating that most people still don't understand just how big cryptocurrency could get. Bitcoin will be at 100K. It will be at $1 million per coin if you're willing to hodl, which is why MicroStrategy feels good about buying Bitcoin at these prices. They have the long-term outlook. But hey, Austin, wait a minute. What about regulation? There's a looming presence of regulators. Are you not concerned that they may be here to quote-unquote ruin the party? In this second clip out of 3, listen to Michael Saylor react to a Senate hearing with Gary Gensler where they're talking about stablecoin regulation specifically, where every party agrees that we just need some clarity. Listen to Michael Saylor explain that Bitcoin is the safest bet with the most upside from a regulatory standpoint, but any clarity for the entire space will only bring more money into this industry. Watch this.
And yet, there's obviously a looming regulatory crackdown. Take a listen to this from SEC Chair Gary Gensler.
Is it your view that stable coins themselves can be securities?
I think it's, Senator, they may well be securities.
To me, a stable coin doesn't meet the second prong of the Howey test, that there has to be an expectation of profits from the investment. And so if it doesn't meet the Howey test, it looks to me like it's not a security. Now, maybe you've got a good argument for why some are and some aren't. My whole point is, I think we need to have clarity on this.
Michael, are you at all concerned that regulators could regulate the exuberance that you were talking about earlier out of the market?
I think that the big winner of that entire hearing was Bitcoin. The consensus that's emerging is that Bitcoin is a commodity and Bitcoin is property. And if your use case is to buy Bitcoin as a long-term store of value, then there's broad-based consensus and support for that across Congress, the Senate, the regulators, the administration, and industry here and abroad. I think that there's a need for clarity. I mean, there's consensus that people think the innovations of cryptocurrency could be beneficial for the next 100 years. They're good for the industry. They're good for the Western world. There's also consensus that we would benefit from clarity. And I think Senator Toomey was pointing out that we would all benefit from clarity, but I think that the SECs would probably agree with them. And I think that over time, we can expect that we'll see more clarity with regard to all digital assets. And I expect that will reduce the volatility in the Bitcoin space. It'll increase public confidence in Bitcoin. And it's also going to accelerate institutional adoption and retail adoption of Bitcoin, because these are all good things for the industry.
Interesting. Give me your thoughts on this Michael Saylor perspective. Give me your thoughts down below in the video description. If Bitcoin gets to 100K, gets to 1 million in these next 10, whatever amount of years, what could that mean for the space? Where would that put certain altcoins? Give me your thoughts down below. I do want to share with you a few other pieces of altcoin news, but in this one last clip, known skeptic of cryptocurrency Emily Chang, host of Bloomberg TV, pushes back on Michael Saylor, saying that in El Salvador, a country that has just adopted Bitcoin as legal tender, we are seeing some pushback, some protests against Bitcoin. And guys, obviously with anything that has lovers of Bitcoin is always going to have haters. And Michael Saylor reminds Emily that over 500,000 people have downloaded a Bitcoin wallet, have gotten some Bitcoin in El Salvador. This is a huge snowball effect that we have never seen in history. Watch this.
Meantime, you have demonstrators in El Salvador burning a Bitcoin ATM, protesting the country's adoption, the country's president pushing the adoption of Bitcoin. What's your take on what this kind of resistance mean in just one country and for the rest of the world?
Well, I think, first of all, the big news here is 500,000 people in El Salvador downloaded a Lightning Bitcoin wallet, and they received $30 worth of Bitcoin. And that's an extraordinary world-shaking event, never happened in the history of the world. And it indicates just how rapidly Bitcoin and Lightning can spread. I think that there are sparks in El Salvador, and there's politics, right? There's an opposition party in the country. There's opposition parties in every single state of the union and every country in the world. And so if the government takes one position, there's going to be an opposition to that position, and it's natural to see that. But I think that the way to think about Bitcoin is the most disruptive technology of the decade. It's making people's lives better, but it's something you can't avoid, which means that everyone's being forced to have an opinion. And so you see some sparks because it's moving so quickly, like a airfoil moving faster than the speed of sound. There's going to be a shock wave, but it's because it's changing the world so quickly.
Good clip. Good clip. And by the way, like I said, if you're interested in seeing more good clips and learning about cryptocurrency, click subscribe. We are blasting off through 1 million, one of the fastest growing channels on cryptocurrency in the interwebs. And next piece of news, keeping you informed, the United States Homeland Security has just paid Coinbase or signed a $1.36 million contract with Coinbase. And this new deal with the US government is around 40 times bigger than its last. And why? Why is the US government paying Coinbase? Well, Coinbase will provide Immigrations and Customs Enforcement Branch, or ICE, with blockchain analytics software. The US crypto exchange has also provided software to the US Secret Service and Inland Revenue. Those are separate branches. Now they again signed a deal with ICE. This branch, the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Branch of US Homeland Security, has given a $1.36 million contract to crypto exchange giant Coinbase. So ICE will be collecting some data. And specifically, what do they want this data for? Well, details as to what exactly ICE wants Coinbase software for are scarce. The same document later states that this requirement is law enforcement sensitive, therefore minimal information will be provided publicly. So they're just collecting data. And I have seen some people sort of angry at this, angry that Coinbase would do this. They're a centralized exchange. They're a centralized exchange in the US. This was inevitable. They do not have a choice. That is why, though, decentralized exchanges can be the silver lining in all this. Keep supporting decentralized exchanges. And next piece of altcoin news for Sushi, SushiSwap co-founder, who is the anonymous 0xMaki, steps down as their leader. In a candid blog post, Sushi's co-founder explained the toll that running the exchange, SushiSwap, has taken on his personal life. So in a way, SushiSwap, which is a prominent DEX, in a way is getting more decentralized as their anonymous founder steps down. He will remain in the DAO as an advisor, so a less prominent role. And I believe all this is due to SushiSwap's tokenization platform Miso suffered a $3 million hack yesterday, though all funds have since been returned, but obviously stressful for any founder. In a tweet and forum post, the pseudonymous developer said that he always strived for Sushi to be leaderless, and he encourages decentralization as much as possible. And in another direct quote, he goes further on to say, I put Sushi before my physical and mental health, my relationships, my family, my friends. So he's stepping down. Sushi still very much in the picture, but they're just going to the DAO model, right? Led by the people instead of a centralized entity. And that's the video. My name's Austin. Like always, see you tomorrow.
There are no informed critiques. I have yet to see them. There are uninformed critiques. And what is that? That's the same as your fighter jet slamming into a wall of air faster than the speed of sound, and you get a shock wave, and you get turbulence, and you get heat, and you get sound and fury. And is that a bad thing? Just means we're moving fast, right? We're moving very fast, and we're getting noticed, and everyone has to notice it, right? And when you're asking the spokesperson for the Kremlin, you know, for Putin, whether or not Russia is going to adopt Bitcoin as the national currency, that's not, when they say not yet or no, that's not a negative signal. That's a positive signal. Nobody asked Putin whether they're going to adopt Apple stock or gold or silver or the giant stone coin of the Yap people as currency in Russia, right? There's only one question they're asking them. And they're asking them the question because it's on the table, and that's indicative of the success of Bitcoin. So to summarize, I am more bullish than ever.